All right, boys and girls, thank you very much for still being here. This is part 3. I was talking about, this is Don with Adventures in a Broken Retired. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your subscriptions. And I know I say this quickly and off the cuff, but I mean it. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments. I really appreciate it. Anyway, at the end of part 2, I was talking about a couple of nuns that I met who came in as guest speakers at the Red Stick Kiwanis meeting. We had meetings every Friday. And they had come back to the United States so they could work with children who had been trafficked. Now, there's a little 3-letter word that goes in front of trafficked. I'm not sure if I can say that word without getting in trouble with YouTube, so I'm leaving it out. But you probably can guess what that little 3-letter word is. Starts with an S. And they were working with children in that situation. And there was a facility that was new to the area that was kind of hidden away that they were working with. And that kind of struck a chord with me. I felt like I could do that place some good. Some of the horror stories that were coming out of there were just unreal. And what the students there, we'll call them, what the students there were needing was very, very simple. But the place was funded strictly by donations. Didn't have a lot of money. And these are 16-year-old girls that have been through unbelievable circumstances. And all they wanted was a Barbie doll, on their wish list, a Barbie doll. So I was, this is not being braggadocious, by the way. This is telling a story. I'm not trying to paint myself as somebody special, because I'm not. I'm just telling you what happened. So I felt kind of, I wanted to do what I could for the place. So I set out on a mission to collect donations. And we did. We collected $2,500 or $2,800, something like that, from a bunch of people. And then I got a hold of, none of that stayed with us. Then I got a hold of the director. I'd been in touch with her, been in communication with her, let her know what's going on. And I told her that I had the money and if she could forward the wish list to me. And I handed the wish list, and some of it was, there's these girls that have been through just terrible, terrible situations. And all they're asking for is, they're 15, 16 years old, and they're asking for coloring pencils, They're asking for simple things that all of us would take for granted. Their needs were so simple. So anyway, I came back to my office, and I got the list. It came in email. I got the list, and I gave it to my office manager. And I said, go to eBay with this list and spend $2,800 buying stuff that's on this list or stuff that goes with stuff that's on this list. So she did. And of course, she's working through me. I'm approving everything as it goes, and I'm working through the director at the facility. And I had the packages with permission from the director. I had the packages delivered directly to the facility, and the the reception, was those kids, the students there, were so grateful, so thankful, and so happy that I will never forget having done that and done something so simple to make someone else's life so easily, make someone else's life so much better. They actually told me that they felt like there is someone out there who cares. There are good people in the world after all, is what I was told, which I think is overdoing it a bit for me. I didn't do a whole lot. I just put it together and did whatever, but I'm really glad that I did that. You know, I there's very few things in my life that I can say that I've done that have really, for the better, impacted other people's lives. But that was. The facility, unfortunately, got small pretty quick. And they had some students there who had some behavioral issues. Gee, what a surprise. Consider what they've been through. And they had a problem with getting some permitting done. They had to have, they had a trailer that had been donated to them, brand new trailer had been donated to them. Excuse me. And they couldn't get water, electricity, and sewer hooked up to it because it had to be handicap accessible, and it had to have a landing. So handicap accessible, I'm not sure how it is where you're at, but handicap accessible means it has to have a ramp, okay? Now the trailer, the floor in the trailer is 48 inches off the ground. These are real numbers. I'm the guy that measured them. The floor in the trailer is 48 inches off the ground. And the most incline that a handicap ramp can have, the most rise it can have, is 1 inch a foot. In 12 inches of ramp, it can raise no more than 1 inch. If it does, it doesn't qualify for handicap and doesn't meet the standards, the needs, and you can take it all back apart and throw it away and redo it. Well, 48 inches of rise to get 48 inches tall means that the ramp has to be 48 feet long, and it's got to have a landing. So I went to, there was also a little set of steps that had to be built. They had a little portable building that they were using as a like a one-on-one office meeting thing for students that had to have steps. There was 2 of those actually. Had to have steps built in front of them. So I went to a guy that I know who's also, he was way more successful and still is way more successful than I ever was. Hang on. Sorry. He was way more successful than I ever was. He still is. He's wildly successful. The guy's just good at what he does. And he's a nice guy. And it kind of surprises me that he's done that well for being so nice, because typically nice people end up finishing last. But anyway, I went to him and said, look, I'm going to build this ramp for this place. And I had spoken to him. He had contributed in the past for the stuff I got from Amazon. I said, look, I'm going to build this ramp for him. Of course, it's got to meet the handrails and it's got to meet all that stuff. You know, I've got pictures of this around, so I'll show you a picture of this one day. I'm going to need money for materials. He said, how much you need? I said, about $2,800. And he said, okay. And he bought the materials, and he said, give me a list. So I gave him a list, and he had them delivered to the site, called up and had the material delivered. And I sent a couple of guys out there that had to be background checked before they could go on the property to make sure that they weren't there for evil purposes, which was fine with me because I had nothing to hide. As far as I know, they didn't either. And we built the ramp. I didn't charge them any labor. I paid the guys, and the materials were donated. We built a little couple pairs of stairs and built the ramp. I got pictures of it. I'm going to show you that one day. Anyway, and that all happened with Kiwanis. I ended up leaving Kiwanis a couple of years ago, not because of Kiwanis, but because things in my life changed. I no longer had the freedom to be able to take those Friday lunches and to be able to stay in the group. Things changed. That happens. But I enjoyed my tenure there. I'm very happy that I did it. I met some people that I will never forget. And it was all around good. So I'm not trying to make this a commercial for Kiwanis, but if it's on your mind to give back to society, I would suggest you give them a consideration. All right, this is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to the spiel, right? And the notification bell. And Elmer is going to take us out of here. So thank you very much, really. Thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I'll get back out and get some outdoor videos done. I got to give it a few days. Got some things I got to do. So anyway, thank you much for being here and have a good afternoon.